We'll now begin the questions. Now, Mr. McAfee, you've already had kind of a sneak preview of the question, but I'll repeat it. For those who are listening to a libertarian debate for the very first time and don't know what a libertarian is, please explain what a libertarian is and what is the difference between a libertarian and a conservative.
Libertarians are people who believe that our bodies belong to ourselves, not to the government. What we insert into our bodies or our minds is our own business. We do not harm one another. We don't take each other's stuff, and we keep our word. What simpler thing can there be to explain to the American populace? We must do that. We've got to stop sitting around the table and arguing with ourselves and go out and speak to America. Please, these principles are simple and they work.
Mr. Perry.
Since Mr. McAfee explained what a libertarian is, allow me to answer the other half of the question. How is libertarian different from conservative? Conservative, by definition, means someone who supports the status quo. The status quo right now is tyranny. Libertarians believe in freedom. The two things are polar opposites.
Governor Johnson.
Broadly speaking, libertarians are fiscally conservative and socially liberal, and so when it comes to conservative, let's not forget that originally a classic liberal was a conservative. So conservatives' bottom line are about smaller government, libertarians' bottom line are about smaller government.
Mr. Peterson.
Very simple. Libertarian is fiscally conservative and socially whatever you want, provided you don't force it on anyone else. In society's mainstream culture, generally, conservatives tend to believe that government should enforce morality upon society. This is distinct from libertarianism. Libertarianism believes that you own your life and body and should be able to do with it as you please, provided you harm no one else, and that the government should stay out of our personal lives.
Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry, most libertarians think both major parties are bad.
Does Mark get to answer the question?
I'm sorry?
Does Dr. Feldman get to answer this
I
question?
thought he did. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
My bad.
A conservative will fight to live free. A libertarian fights for everybody to live free. If you want to be free to carry guns that you want, you also have to fight for the freedom of your neighbor to marry who he wants or she wants, to smoke what he or she wants, to do with their body what he or she wants. That's freedom for everybody.
My second general question, Mr. Perry, please start. Most libertarians think both major parties are bad, but that the Republican Party is, at least as to economic issues, the lesser of two evils. What do you say to people who believe that, in the best case scenario, the Libertarian candidate this year might get 10%? In a close election, the Libertarian will likely take more votes from the Republican, making it more likely that Hillary will win the election. What is your argument? What is your response to that line of thinking?
Math and history and evidence. Every election cycle, there are exit polls that are done and questions asked of voters that vote for libertarians. If the libertarian were not in the race, who would you have voted for? And it's almost even split between Democrat and Republican, with a sizable number that would say, I would not have voted otherwise.
Governor Johnson.
Well, factually speaking, my name has appeared in 3 national polls, 10%, 10%, and 11%. And in those polls, they actually did an analysis and pulled more votes away from Hillary than from Trump. But I think at the end of the day, you pull equally from both sides. And the idea isn't just to get to 10%. The idea here is to actually get to 15% and be in the presidential debates, creating a real opportunity to tell the people of the world a different view on all of these topics.
Mr. Peterson.
When faced with the choice of the lesser of two evils, vote for neither. Exit polls in Virginia after Robert Sarvis's race for governor showed that he pulled more from the Democrats than he did from the Republicans. In order to arrive at left or right, you could be born a Republican or a Democrat. But in order to become a Libertarian, one must first think to arrive at our positions. And of course, the friends of big governments always look at us Libertarians and say, you look like you've had a little too much to think. Vote Libertarian.
Dr. Feldman.
I'm a doctor, not a governor, but thank you.
I said Dr. Feldman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Is it possible for me to win the nomination? Is it possible for the Libertarian to become the next president of the United States? Of course it is, because all it takes is a miracle. And miracles happen. Who makes miracles happen? I'm looking at them right now.
Mr. McAfee.
I have lived through 14 presidential elections, and I can promise you, whether the Democrats or the Republicans have gotten in, my life has been worse. There has been more government control and oppression. I have lost my freedom and my privacy. My taxes have gone up. To me, I don't care. I want to know who the wizard is behind the curtain that creates these clowns that we're voting for. Please.